Hi there, my beautiful beings. So it just came to my awareness that I forgot to do the VR, the virtual reality analogy that was given to me. It's such a beautiful analogy because it's so close to the reality. For those of you who have done virtual reality, you put on that headset and say, for example, you set up in your living room, right? So you've moved all the furniture out of the way, right? While you're still aware, right, before you go in. You make sure you got enough space to move around. And then you put on the virtual reality headset. Now what happens? You choose where you're going to go, right? Say we're going to go into a forest for a quest. We're just playing this game. And so you're in this forest and you're immersed in this forest. Now I don't even think it takes 30 seconds to 1 minute before this is your reality. You're so engrossed in the fact that you are now in this forest, in this virtual reality game or whatever it is you want to call it, with this headset. Now what happens? Eventually you start to move around and you bump into a piece of furniture. And in that moment that you bump into that piece of furniture, what happens? You remember, for that 1 second, you remember, oh, that's right. I'm not really in this forest. I'm in my living room. There's that awareness for that 1 second. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've bumped into this furniture. I'm in my living room. I'm not really in this forest. And then 10 seconds later, I'm off again. I'm in the forest. And this is what it is to be here on earth in this 3D reality. That living room is spirit. That is the space that you come from. That is spirit. It is still holding you. You never separate from that, from the oneness, from source. You never separate from that, from God, whatever it is you want to call it. But what happens? For us to come here to this 3D reality, and we want to have this illusion of separation, that we can experience all these wonderful things, that we can even experience separation is incredible. But to do that, we have to put on this 3D headset. We choose to put on this 3D headset. You do realize you have a choice. You chose to put on this 3D headset. And before you came in to this 3D reality, now this is going to bake a few noodles. It's going to... You chose the game that you were going to play, the experience that you were going to have. You chose whether you were coming into poverty. You chose whether you were coming into a 3D, what's it called? The third world countries. You chose whether you were going to come in and be completely rich, never have to work a day in your life. What's that experience like? You chose to come in and be adopted at birth. You chose to come into one of the war zones. This is one of the realities here. You chose all of it. Before you came in, you chose your parents. You chose where on this planet you were going to be born. What religion? I wonder if I go into that religion, what experience will I have? How will that pan out? What wisdom will I gain from that? What if I come in and I'm an atheist? There's no religion. What will that experience be like? To not believe in anything. There is no God. There is nothing. What's that experience like? You chose all of it before you put on that virtual reality headset. And then you pressed play. Then you were born. You were created, you were held, you were born, and in you come. But your soul already chose all of it because it already had a plan. It has a plan that through these incredible experiences that it has chosen, it will gain more wisdom, more knowledge about itself than it had before. You see, before it comes here, the soul has all the wisdom of all the universe within, all the knowledge. And the information I've been given is similar to, imagine you're in a library and you have in this library every book that's ever been written, ever, is in this library that you're standing in as a soul. Now you can go over to a book, let's say a cookbook, a recipe book, and you can open up and read all about cakes. Everything about cakes. So you have all this information now, all this concept, theory about cakes. Great. And that's all the soul has. All this theory. Looks nice. It's got pictures. It's got everything. It's not just the recipe. It's got the pictures. You can see how amazing it looks. But is that the experience? So the soul comes down into this 3D reality. It hunts down that recipe book. And now it has it there in the kitchen. Pulls out the recipe, pulls out all the ingredients, all the measuring things that it needs, the cups, the spoons, everything. And it's ready to go. And it starts measuring, and it starts mixing, and it starts baking, and it pulls it out. And there it is. Now we've become very big fans of taking photos of things and putting them up on Facebook. So my question to you is, does the person take a photo of that cake and post it up on Facebook? And it's an incredible photo. It looks amazing. Is the experience done? Well, I came all this way. I've measured everything, mixed it all up, put it in the oven, cooked it. It came out. I've taken the photo and it looks exactly like the photo in the cookbook, which means I'm now done with that experience. Is it done? Or is there something very important missing? And this is the reason the soul is here. What's it taste like? What does that cake taste like? What does it smell like before you even taste it? Can you capture that in the photo that you put up on Facebook? Does it even measure up to the experience of cutting a slice of that cake? Taking the spoon, picking up that first piece of that cake and tasting it. What does it taste like? Once the soul, the being, has had that first piece in its mouth, it's delicious. It tastes even better than it looks in the photo. Even better than I could ever have imagined it tastes like. Now the experience is complete. We have made it and we have tasted it. What's it like to have your first kiss? Is this something you can read in a book? What's it like to give birth to your first child? Is this something you can read in a book? What's it like to hold your child after it's born? Do you take a photo and put it up on Facebook and the experience is done? Oh, good. The photo was the whole purpose. No. How does it feel to hold your firstborn on your chest? To feel its little beating heart in your hand? What's it feel when the baby's in your belly and you feel, you hear that heartbeat for the first time? Does it compare to something that you would read in a book? How that feels to know that there's something growing inside of you, that for that moment you are literally one being growing inside of the other. And everything you feel, that baby feels. It's an exquisite experience. The first kiss, the first time you have sex, the first time you get your periods. Is that something you can read in a book? I learned very early on with my daughter. I remember I'd given her all this information about it. About getting periods, about the pads, about everything she was going to go through so that she would not be afraid. And yet she came to me at the age of 11 with all this fear, with all this doubt. Why? Because it's not something that you can read in a book. It's something that you have to experience. And once you've experienced it, now I know what that's like. Now I understand. I get it. Okay, I get it. For boys, I'm sure you have your own experiences as well, or wet dreams or whatever it is that you guys go through. I only had the one daughter, so I've only had the female experience of all of that. But everything. What's it like when you ride your motorbike? And even though you got the helmet on here, but you can feel the hair, the wind in your hair. What's that feel like? Riding a motorbike's like one of the closest things to freedom. You feel like you're flying. It's such a beautiful feeling. And like with that, music. You can look at scores and scores and scores, books and books and books full of musical pieces. But sit down and listen to your first piece of music. What does that feel like? There's nothing like music. Nothing like it. So, my beautiful beings, this is what you are doing here. What you think you were doing here? Yeah, no. We have all these goals. We've been taught. From so little, we've been taught, Even now, my daughter's turning 14, and the younger kids, when we're doing the piano lessons, will ask her, what are you going to be when you grow up? And her answer is always me. I was different from, oh dear, I can't remember, from the youngest age. Every year I would change. And this year I'm going to be a lawyer, and next year I'm going to be a doctor, and then the following year I was going to be a veterinarian because I knew that I was really good at school. So there were no limits to what I could become, in terms of a profession. I wanted to be all of it when I was little. So yes, I wanted to be, all these things. But I also had that awareness. As much as I loved my dad and I thought he was amazing, and he was the person I admired the most when I was growing up, I always knew I wanted to be me. I didn't want to be anything else. I didn't want to be anyone else. I just didn't. I loved my experience. I loved my mind. I loved the world I lived in. So, my beautiful beings, you are here to experience that cup of coffee. What does it taste like? first thing in the morning, or that tea, whatever it is that you have first thing. What's it feel like when you're in the shower and the water's pouring down on your body, or you're in the bath, you're just floating there in the bubbles? What's it like when you're swimming in the ocean and it's freezing in there? It feels like every single cell inside of you is now awake. What's it feel like to walk on the beach barefoot? What does the sand feel like underneath your feet? This is what we are here for. Every moment counts. Every moment that you are doing something, you are being something. Every moment is sacred. And one of the biggest realizations I've had recently, my goal this year is to really move into my coaching, to assist others on their paths. And I thought it was all about becoming the coach, being the coach already, because I've spent years doing it for free. But this is my calling, this is my direction. And I thought it had to do with that. And in that moment, I looked at myself and I thought, well, what is the ultimate goal of wanting to be that coach, to assist others? Yes, it's to be of service. I love being of service, and that's why I'm always here. But the main goal was the freedom, the financial freedom that it would bring. Freedom. And in that moment that I sat with it, I realized, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing I used to do with love. I'm putting that out there in that moment that hasn't happened yet. But that freedom, that peace that I'm yearning, is not out there in that moment of when I'm finally working full-time as a coach. We have learned to put it on something. Our peace, our love, our joy. Oh, when that happens, then I'll be at peace, I'll be at joy. Then that needs to happen for me too. We were never taught that we already are these things. And it's not about getting to that point. Say you're studying to become a doctor. So all of your focus is in becoming a doctor and serving others, healing others, helping others, all of that. And when you become a doctor, then you've made it. Then you can be what? Joyful, at peace, not sure what it is, free, or what it is that you're looking for when you get that. But what I've been shown is that it's not about getting to that destination and being that. It's about the journey and everything that you learn about yourself along the way. Everything that you learn. All the experiences that you have before you even get there to that. That's what life is about. It's not about when you finish, when you're done, when you've done it all. It's about every moment, and in every moment you can be free. In every moment you can be at peace, with or without that title, with or without those patients in your case if you're looking to be a doctor, with or without the clients in my case if I'm looking to get into coaching. When that happens, then we can move into being all of that with that. We can expand more, be more. But you can do that now. Because that cake that we talked about earlier, it's not going to taste any different when you are a doctor. It's not going to taste any different when I'm a coach. Every hug that I receive from my daughter isn't going to feel any different now than then, unless I make it feel different. Unless I decide that I'm more worthy as a coach I'm more worthy of her hugs. No, I am worthy of those hugs because I am me, because I am here, because I am spirit. And that's it. So, my beautiful beings, we pray this message reaches you, touches your heart, that this is what you are truly doing here, experiencing all of it, because you can, because you've been given this incredible gift. You've chosen it, my beautiful beings, and all of it is precious, all of it is sacred. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. We love you dearly. Bye for now.